This is our habitat that we created for our tomato frog. The habitat should be a glass aquarium or plastic that is at least 10 gallons for 2 adult tomato frogs, or at least a 24-inch by 18 by 18-inch terrarium. This is the minimum, but a bigger size is even better. Tomato frogs like to burrow, so it's important to include at least 2 inches of substrate at the bottom of their terrarium. Tomato frogs also benefit from having hollow logs and cork bark for them to hide in, or even leaves from plants that are in there. Tomato frogs are primarily nocturnal, so they don't require a UV source or other special light source, but you do want to check to make sure that your plants don't require a special light. You can also get a extra light source so that you can see your frog better, which is what we have. Tomato frogs do well with both live or fake plants. However, when selecting live plants, you need to keep in mind that tomato frogs like to burrow, so the plant's roots might be disturbed or uprooted if you plant your plants directly into the substrate. We kept ours in this jar because it was easier for us to water, and it also helped keep the plant having enough water without sucking it out of the substrate, which we needed to keep moist for the tomato frog. The terrarium should keep around a 65 to 80% humidity because tomato frogs come from the rainforest where there's extremely heavy rain. So you'll want to mist your terrarium heavily every 1 to 3 days and make sure that the substrate stays very wet. The optimum temperature for your terrarium is around 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, so if your room is on the colder side, you might need a small heating pad, which is what we have. Tomato frogs are carnivores and eat a variety of insects when they're in the wild. In captivity, they eat crickets, mealworms, waxworms, superworms, and pinky mice. They generally should be fed nightly and should eat 3 to 4 crickets or even up to 6 to 10 for larger adult tomato frogs. Tomato frogs are narrow-mouthed frogs, so it's important that their food isn't too big for them, especially if they're small. Another requirement for your tomato frog habitat is a small, shallow water dish with clean, fresh water. Be sure that the dish isn't too deep because tomato frogs are really bad swimmers, so they can drown pretty easily. So it might be necessary to add small stones, like we did, to help your tomato frog to not drown when they get in the water. You won't ever see your tomato frog drink from the water through their mouth because tomato frogs actually absorb their water through their skin. Here are just a couple more videos we got of our tomato frog eating crickets and mealworms. And after these are done, this will conclude the rest of our video of our tomato frog habitat.